Hi, my name is Michael Geisweller, and I'll be interviewing my parents. My dad's name is Gerard Geisweller, my mom's name is Mary Geisweller. I'll be asking them marriage interview questions. To start this interview off, the first question will be, how long have you guys been married?
We've been married 28 years.
How old were you when you met each other?
I was 19.
I was 25.
Describe your courtship.
I met Mary when she was the receptionist at a law firm. I thought she was very nice, and I asked her to go out on a date with me.
Well, no, how you asked me when the lawyer asked you if you were available, and Jerry said yes, that he was available to ask somebody out, and then he asked me out, and we went on our first date, and then he didn't call me for 3 or 4 months, so I assumed he didn't like me, but it turns out he was dating somebody at the time. And then he asked me to go to a 4th of July party that he was having with his friends, and I brought my friends, and from that point on, we continued dating. He said to his friend that he was going to keep me for the summer because he lived in Long Beach, and it turned out we wound up dating, and he kept me for a lot of summers.
Why did you guys decide to get married?
We decided to get married because we loved each other. I loved Mary, and I believe she loved me.
And we wanted to have a family and all that stuff too.
Describe your engagement.
Well, I took Mary without telling her, and I took her up to a beautiful place in Douglaston, right on the water, and I got down on one knee, and I asked her to marry me.
Yes, and then he told my parents beforehand, and when we went back to my parents' house, there was a party waiting for us, so they all knew that I was getting engaged, but I did not know that I would be engaged that day, so it was really nice.
How old were you when you guys got married?
I was 24.
And I was 30.
What were you looking for in a spouse?
Honest, an honest person, a person who would be loving, caring, would be a good parent. At the time when we first got engaged, neither one of us had any money, and we saved our money. We worked at a club. I was a waitress, Jerry was a bartender, and we saved all our money to get married. We paid for our wedding, and we paid for a co-op as soon as we got married.
I was looking for somebody just like Mary, who was loving and loved me, and was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun together, and it was just something that happened very naturally.
How does the reality of marriage compare to your expectations of what marriage would be?
Marriage is hard work. It's fun at times, and then it could be tough, and then throw some kids involved in it, and it gets a little tougher. But it's a lot of work, and then when the kids leave, then we're back together, and hopefully everything's still good, because really, after a while, when you get married and the kids come into the picture, it's really mostly about the kids. But you have to make a marriage work.
How do children affect marriage?
Well, the children take a lot of your time, and they take a lot of your money, so you need to allocate a lot of each. You need money and you need time.
And both have to work, and Jerry had to work a second job because we needed more money with the 2 kids, and we wanted to send them to private school and private Catholic school because we thought that was the best thing to do for our kids. So Jerry worked a second job, and we did what we had to do for them.
How important are money and marriage, sex, similar values, and or religion?
Well, first do the first question. How important is money? Well, money is really important. I mean, it's, you need a home. You need things to provide for your children and for us. And if you didn't have money, we'd be in a tough situation. And then money causes problems between the 2 of you because you get upset that you don't have enough money to do the things that you need to do. Right?
Luckily, we didn't have that problem, but I think money becomes an issue when you don't have it.
Mm-hmm. And you have to work hard.
You work hard and you pay your bills.
How important is marriage?
Marriage is everything to us. It was our whole life. It's our life. Our marriage is everything.
Sex.
Sex is very important. If we didn't have sex, we wouldn't have you.
some of your similar values and religion?
Well, we were both raised in Catholic homes. We both have Irish heritage. I have German and Danish heritage, but Mary's full-blooded Irish. We came from very similar families with working parents, parents who worked hard to buy a house and raise their family on Long Island, which, as we all know, was not cheap. And luckily for us, our families became friendly because of the similarities between the two families.
What was the question?
Religion.
Religion. Well, I think religion is a big thing for me and for my family. And I mean, I enjoy going to church, and I want my family to go to church. And I feel that good things happen when you do go to church. And I'm lucky that we're all healthy, and my kids are healthy. And I believe that's all because I have a big faith in religion.
And I think religion also gives you a sense of community. People who have similar beliefs are very important as a support group, and for you to support them.
And we're lucky in our town in Long Beach. We have a great pastor, and it brought our whole town together after Hurricane Sandy. And since then, our church has just become great for families. And even kids who really don't want to go to church have really enjoyed going to church. And I think that really helps the community and family and marriage and everything else to go with it.
Any toughness between your cultural backgrounds?
Not really. We really came from very similar backgrounds.
Our families were both hardworking families, and we became hardworking kids to do, so we have a lot in common. Our families had a lot in common. Our fathers were both in the Marines, and they had a lot in common, and our families were a lot alike.
Educational backgrounds?
Of ourselves, well, I am presently in law school. I retired from my job. I went back to college to finish my degree when I was 53, and I started law school
Yeah.
when I was 57.
Yeah, I graduated high school. I got a 2-year degree, and then I went to a court reporting school, and I was a court reporter for quite a few years. And then I had my daughter, and after, I guess she was around 2 or 3 years old, and we had a fire in our building, and lost my court reporting machine and all that stuff. And at that time, I was working in Long Beach also, and I gave up the court reporting because it was really hard. One of us had to be home near the kids, and so that was my extra education. So I got an associate's degree, and then I got a degree to be a court reporter.
How many years are you guys apart, and was it hard being different age?
Oh, how old are we?
Well, like 6 years apart, and I think it really hasn't had any bearing on our relationship.
Yeah, no. And I like being the younger one. So when I'm around his friends, I'm the young wife, not the old one. So that works out well.
What advice would you give teenagers who are dating and thinking about getting married?
Well, my advice is to have respect. Have respect for each other, and to, if you do plan on getting married, make sure you do it as a sacrament in the church.
My advice is make sure you know that you love each other. Just don't get married for the sake of saying I'm married. Marriage is hard work, but it's worth it. And if you want to have a family and do all those things, I really think marriage is great. But it's not for everybody, but it's hard work also.
What advice would you give to a young married couple that has experienced marital difficulties and thinking about divorce?
I believe they should seek some sort of counseling, whether it be professional help or whether through their clergy.
Yes, sometimes I feel the kids nowadays, they throw in the towel quick and they don't work at it. I think that you should really try it. Sometimes there's things that are not forgivable and your marriage will not work, but I think you should try. If you've made the sacrament, you should try to keep your marriage, but if there's things that just can't get past, then I guess
looking back, what would you do differently if you guys could?
I wouldn't do anything differently. I'm very happy with the way my marriage turned out. I'm very happy with all the years we've been married. And I really mean that.
Yeah, I don't see you doing anything different. I think I got married at a good age. I mean, I think nowadays everybody gets married later. I got married, was 24? 24, and I think it was a great age to get married. And we were married for 5 years before we had our first child, and I think it was perfect timing. We had some time together before we had her, and I think we did everything right. We had our homes, and I think we did good.
What would you say is the key to a happy marriage?
Every marriage is different. The people have to respect each other and they have to love each other. That's the most important thing.
Honesty, trust,
It's all part of love.
and let each other be. Also, you got to give everybody space, I think,
Yes.
and just being honest with each other. I think is definitely a big key. And trust.
You have to look at yourself as a team. Everybody has a role to play and you try to fulfill your duties the best you can.
Right, and being a parent, I mean, you do it together. It has to be a joined force. One can't override the other. It has to be, right? You'd say that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you think a couple should live together before deciding to get married? Why or why not?
Well, as a Christian, I don't think you should, but I don't have any personal issues with it. If you feel that's the best way to proceed, that's your personal decision. It's not the path that the Catholic Church believes you should take, and therefore that's what my opinion is.
We did not, my parents wouldn't have allowed that. I didn't want to do that anyway. I wanted to be married. And I feel sometimes if people live together and there's problems, it's easy to walk out. When you're married, you stay in it because you're married. And I think I don't know, I think you should be married. I don't really go for the living together first. I really don't. People are different now. You?
No, they are different. I think if you're going to live together, you should understand that there are some people who view it as immoral.
How many years were you guys dating before you decided to get married?
4.
4.5?
We got married after 4 years, so we decided a little bit before that.
Yeah, right? 4 years. And I think that was a good time. Well, we had to get established in work. You were a court officer, you had to get a little more established too. And we had to save money for our wedding and a home. So it gave us some time. We got engaged, and then a year later we got married. So after we got engaged, we really saved a lot of money to pay for the things that we wanted. Our parents helped out, but we did most of it.
Were your parents supportive of marriage?
Very much so. Both parents. My parents were thrilled.
My parents loved Jerry, and they felt that Jerry was good for me, and his parents felt the same about us. So, about me. But I think it went well. Both parents really liked each other's kids. They missed each other.
Were there many bumps in the road during your marriage so far?
Not many.
Well, we had some
natural
causes.
disasters.
We had a
We
fire.
had a fire in our apartment building in our co-op, and we've had Hurricane Sandy.
We had a fire, and we had to live with my mother for
Months.
about 5 or 6 months. I was pregnant with Michael, so that was tough, but we did it. And then Hurricane Sandy being displaced. I mean, we went through a lot, but we got through it. But we definitely went through some natural disasters that definitely put a toll on us and our family. But we did it as a family.
Do you guys like the town that you live in?
Love the town that we live in, and I'm happy I raised my kids in this town, and I think that both of my kids will probably have their families in this town. I don't see either one of them leaving this town. Long Beach is the best town to live in.
Thank you for watching this interview, and I hope